Πλέον στο Λος Άντζελες να πάω στην παλιά μου δουλειά. Δηλαδή εγώ πουλούσα χαρτιά και σακούλες χάρτινα ίδια από το Σικάγο.
Και βγαίνει στον Broadway λοιπόν όλη τη μέρα, τη μισή μέρα πάνω κάτω, όποιον έβλεπε έλεγε «Γεια σου, γεια σου, γεια σου».
Δεν είχα τόσο ευχαριστημένη ζωή. Επιθυμούσα τις αδερφάδες μου, τη μανούλα μου και όλους τους συγγενείς μας.
Είχα δουλειά, πήγαινα στο καφενείο.
Stories from the past, customs, memories. These are the oral histories of early immigrant pioneers. They serve as pathways from the Patrida, homeland, Greece. Those who traveled across the ocean enduring hardships to find the promise of America. They are the ones who brought the torch, whose legacy was passing it on, the generation that passed the torch, the floga. Floga is the Greek word for flame, the essence of a torch. And so it is that the Floga project is dedicated to preserving Greek heritage and passing its flame on to each new generation. A flame that had its origin in ancient Greece, with early philosophers such as Plato, Sophocles, and Pythagoras, who laid the foundations of morality, ethics, and mathematics of Western philosophy, and Pericles, who provided the beginnings of democracy and the value of freedom. Preserving the memories and photos of the early pioneers provided the inspiration for the development of the Greek Heritage Society of Southern California. Beginning in 1985, through the work of dedicated volunteers, the organization began to collect oral histories and photographs from some of the early Greek immigrants and their families. These efforts have led to numerous accomplishments. In 1986, the Greek Heritage Society began to share its collected materials with the community at large by sponsoring historical and cultural exhibits throughout Southern California. These events continue today. In 1988, the Greek Heritage Society sponsored a significant cultural program, Ioti, a celebration of Greek womanhood. The UCLA event featured Helen Zisi Papanikolas, who presented a lecture on women and the Greek immigrant experience in the West. In 1989 and again in 1995, the organization presented Ekdromi, a festive Greek outing. Dancers, singers, and storytellers recreated early Los Angeles Greek life. In October 2005, the Greek Heritage Society celebrated its 20th year anniversary with a concert at the Barnstable Gallery Theater in Hollywood, California. And by popular demand, an encore performance was presented in May of 2006 to another enthusiastic full house.
Hello, I'm Olympia Dukakis. Welcome to the Greeks of Southern California through the century.
Hosted by Academy Award winner Olympia Dukakis, The Pioneers made its debut in 2002. Produced by the Greek Heritage Society, it told a story that the organization knew so well. The story of a proud, passionate, and industrious people and their quest to become Americans. The documentary covers the period from 1900 to 1942. It premiered at 20th Century Fox Studios and received the prestigious Award of Excellence by the Film Advisory Board. The film was also named Best Documentary at the International Panorama Independent Filmmakers Festival in Thessaloniki, Greece. Once again, the torch is passed to a new generation of Greek Americans. The Promise of Tomorrow, 1943 to 2007, is part 2 of the Greek Heritage Society's documentary series. Currently in production, the focus of the program is the significant contributions that Greeks have made to America, a legacy of pride, strong work ethics, and an indomitable spirit for life.
The work ethic that my mom and my father instilled in us, we're so fortunate to have that role model, because that's why, you know, I think I'm as successful as I am from the tennis, from the coaching, is because of that work ethic.
My grandfather and grandmother both were insistent that education be a priority, and I think that's what makes us as Greek Americans so special. Education was everything. He came, he didn't speak the language, he was 19 years old. He worked, he sold candy door to door. That was all he knew how to do. His father was a zacharoplastis, a candy maker. He was a candy maker. He came to this country to hopefully find a better life for himself and his future. And because of him, I'm able to dream.
My mother saw what was happening to all the boys as they grew up in this coal mining town. They all worked on the railroad or in the coal mines, and she didn't want that for me. So she wanted me to go to the university, and she insisted that my dad move his business to Salt Lake.
My father believed in education. He himself was not that well educated in Greece, but he educated himself.
The church has been our mecca for, you know, our center for not just our thriskia, not just our religion, but for us to bond as a community.
Growing up in the Greek community, first in Los Angeles, going to St. Julian Street, the first church, and then St. Sophia, and then in 1968 I started coming here to St. Nicholas. So I think it's a good part of my life. It's a balancing part of my life, and the church has always been a very big part of my life.
I'm proud to say that I'm Greek, and so I'm so proud, and what I have gotten from church, from my parents, from my aunts and uncles, that tradition and is so important to me, and I'm so fortunate to have that culture.
I think that it makes such a difference to all of us who are trying to instill in the same to instill in our children that same value, that same, not to say that we're better than anybody else, but we sure are unique.
Floga is a never-ending quest to continue to pass the torch. The Greek Heritage Society is also working to establish an archival resource center consisting of a computerized catalog of video footage, photographs, and written documents. The Floga project is in need of your support. Visit pahh.com/GHS to help pass the Floga.